Welcome back to the channel, Redcat RC. This is a fun one. I've been talking about referencing making this video in a couple other videos, and oh man, some people are gonna maybe watch this and go one of three things, maybe two of three. Number one, you might go, "Oh, what the? Ooh, those dirty scoundrels! Ooh." Or you might go, huh, neat, works out for me. Or you might go, I don't care, whatever. I don't know. You could go through all three stages. You could. There a lot of things can happen, but let me just get into this right here. All right. So what we have. Thanks for coming out. By the way, thanks for stopping in and hanging out with RevKev. Because I'm about to tell you something that you might already know, or you might be interested to learn. You might be looking at these two things and going, well, geez, that's a YiKong rock slide. And that is an FMS Bronco R short course, right? So we got a 1/6 scale, and we have a 1/7 scale. Now, the scale claims that's a whole different video, but I'll probably touch on it in this because it is relevant. This one is physically larger, right? Well, how is it larger? Let's back the camera out a little bit. All right, it is physically larger. What makes it physically larger? It's the axles and the tires. Axles, tires, and wheels, right? Which makes it sit up taller, which makes it sit wider, wheelbase, all that good stuff. We have two totally different brands here. They have an uncanny amount of similarities. Now, here's what happened, right? I had previously been doing my before run look over. You know, I had done the video about the sway bar, did some Loctite and made sure those were good. And I colored that in with my paint marker just to add a little bit of style and flair, like I do with a lot of things. I did it with the winch hook up in front. And you know, and then I put it aside and had done some other things and whatever, whatnot. Cool lights. And then one day I was doing a video on this, doing a thing, doing a look at it and blah, 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 blah. And boy, I had the same inclination. I was like, I'm going to paint marker this. And then my brain was like, didn't you already do this? Didn't you already do this exact thing? And then, of course, my brain and my eyes snapped over to that thing. I looked at it. And what did I discover? Something that may be obvious to the people who already know. This is the same thing. This is the same cage. It's the same cage. Everything is the same. Okay? Same position, same everything. Same little storage box looking thing. Same fuel cell. Same holes here that are unused. Because one day I was like, well, what the heck are these for? What did they intend these holes here for? Maybe they're for trail antenna whips, you know, something cool to do that with. Maybe it's a light bar that you could put back here. No, it's just the other side of the holes for the sway bar, where the sway bar hinge point is on this one. That's all that it is. So the chassis on that's a plate chassis. This is a ladder style chassis, right? So plate being, if you don't know, this type here, everything is bolted to this. And then we've got our like I would call maybe like the upper mid frame, where your rear trailing arms and all of this other stuff right here for the back is bolted, and then this all integrates here. So these components are unique in their own way, except this is all definitely a ridge racer with a few different things to change the width. But and of course this is the ladder style, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's just two rails side by side that are connected in the middle with parts and components that make it all one piece in the end. Well, you know, one unit. But listen, man, the the cage, everything on this is identical. I mean, look at the lights. The lights are identical. Same number of them, same mounting positions. This is, let's call that 3.75 apart. 3.75 apart. We're looking at 7 3/4. 7 3/4. That is why when you look at the back of this thing, you see holes that are unused. Well, that's because on here, they're holding a body on, right? Like, and let's see, those are attached to the, not the frame. Yeah. So the lights right here are attached to the body, not the cage. And let's see what else. Yeah. This hole and that hole, those are actually the mud flaps. That's the mud flap cage. It's kind of hilarious what they've done. We know that the FMS, this truck was made by YiKong as the TB7 something or other. But I didn't know, because we know that this is the YiKong rock slide, and we also know that the FMS, not FMS, the Redcat Vertex 6 is essentially this truck from the cage down. And these share the same cage. So what I'm driving at here is, I don't care that they've done this. It means nothing to me that kind of YiKong and FMS, and we all know that they didn't keep it a secret. FMS really liked YiKong's Ridge Racer, so they bought the rights to sell it under their name, and they did the same thing with this. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with any of this. I'm just making a video and telling you about what I saw. And what it really means. What it really means is, for a lot of things, you can buy parts for one thing and stick it on another. I noticed this the other day. Like, I thought these right here, these are kind of hard to see in the shadow. I thought, well, geez, that's really thoughtful of them. They gave us like supports for our the center here. For like, I even mentioned it in the video. Like, oh, neat, they gave us center supports here for the cage, and it is, but it's actually just unused body clip locations. It's the same thing, right? It's the same thing. So what I'm getting down to is, if you really wanted to, if you wanted to be that guy, which I don't really have the desire to do that. I already have both of these. But if you really wanted to, you could put these body panels on that and have something that looks a little bit like a super rock ray, something like that, because it's all tapered down in the front. Let me flip these things around here so we can stop, you know, staring at their butts. All right, so yeah, if you really wanted to, you could put this narrow body assembly on this and run that, and then it's like, well, nobody has that. That's pretty cool. Or you could put this body on this. I mean, look, we're about 3 inches. About 3 inches. It's the same. Look at the screw holes here to here. We're looking at 8 and 8. Yeah, you literally could take all this off and swap it and or get one of these and buy that and then have that cool look for whatever reason. I think the tires would rub, but you could definitely take this, put it on there, and have a really cool look if you wanted something more high speed. And then because these are, I don't remember if these are 12s or 17s, but you could put bigger tires on there and then have a fast version that looks like this. I think that would be super cool. Okay, I had to pause the video. You probably saw the lights shooting in here. My wife came home. Who put these on there? I must have been half asleep. Yeah, that's how I like to do it. Anyway, so you could swap the body panels. You could do something hilarious. Now, this is all one. I don't think I'd want to buy one of those and then cut it. But you could, if I were going to do this, I would buy this body and stick it on here. I think that would look cool. Maybe the bumpers wouldn't look, the bumpers might look out of place. But in any case, the Ridge Racer is buried over here under a bunch of other stuff. It is not the same cage as these are. So that's why it didn't make the table for this comparison. But, excuse me, God, that root beer. I don't know. Who are you? Barks, or A&W, or what do you like? Let me know down in the comments if you drink root beer. Some people hate root beer. It's one of those things. It tastes like, I don't know, something gross when everybody else doesn't taste it. Anyway, another cool thing, or maybe a reality about these cages being the exact same thing. People are not high-speed durability testing these trucks. Number one, they don't go that fast. Number two, it's a crawler, so why would you? But they are doing it to these with the exact same cage and the exact same construction from here up. And it does make sense. Well, let me not say that just yet. So what that means is the robustness and the durability that these cages and this type of plastic nylon material has shown forth in the Ridge Racer and in this truck, in the beatdowns that they get, gives me confidence, and probably should give anybody else confidence, that if you go to beating on this thing and you roll it down a hill and it crashes and it does all that crazy stuff that these things experience, you will likely not break anything up here. You could, of course, crack the body. That's a thing. But the cage itself is probably going to be fine, being that it is that gauge. So, yeah. Got me yawning again. I wanted to point something out. Another YouTuber thought it was strange about the way that the body is connected down here. I'm going to move the Ridge, I called it a Ridge Racer, the Bronco R off the bench, just so I can show you what I'm talking about a little bit easier. Man, that thing is smooth. All right. When you look at this, he was like, well, why? There we go. He didn't understand why they didn't have like why doesn't this down here? Gotta move the camera again. Why doesn't the body key into these sliders? Well, they're not sliders. These are what comes on the Vertex, and I think the Vertex body might slip into there, and these can function as sliders. I mean, you see the groove there. That's what that is basically always for. And I don't have a Vertex, but I think that the vertex body will key into that in that groove there and act as a slider. We didn't get that in this truck. What we got is a cage from another truck fashioned onto this thing, and then a body molded around it. So he tried to make some sliders. So I guess he probably got rid of this, and he made his own 3D printed sliders, which is cool. And one of them broke under a pretty hard ask. So I'm not knocking his construction. Like, I didn't make sliders. I don't have a 3D printer yet. But what I think one might do if they wanted to make sliders, but they didn't want to necessarily get rid of this, you could probably make your own out of metal and attach them either to this or screw them into this part right here. So the slider would be attached to this and not this. Something to consider. I don't even know if I care that much about it, but you could do it. Now, what you'd make it out of, I don't know. Aluminum is the easiest to work with. It's also cheap, but aluminum, when it gets gouged up, it just becomes less slidey and more grabby and potentially dangerous. You could cut yourself. So maybe, I don't know, if I ever do get a 3D printer, I might make something that attaches to the existing tray here that are for batteries. Not for this truck, unless you're going to run. This is the most ideal location, in my opinion and experience. It's forward. But yes, you can see that these have holes for straps if you're going to put batteries in there. I haven't seen a single person on the internet do that yet with either truck, so that's basically, that doesn't exist for me. And if these weren't part of something that holds in something on the other side, I might even get rid of these. Although, I guess it doesn't make any sense to do that. It does provide some slidey goodness inside of there. Anyway, that is kind of, I think, all I wanted to say about this little fun thing that YiKong / FMS has done. And maybe even throw in Redcat in there, since this is a creation of them and Redcat, and this is the Bronco R cage with a rock slide body bolted to it. I don't mind it. I think it's neat. I think it's fun to discover things like this and then talk about it with my RC friends on the internet. So tell me what you guys think. Did you already know this? Am I late to the party? Like, how? What? Let me know. I want to know what you think. I'm going to end the video here. We're about 20 minutes. That's pretty good. I usually take way longer than that. But this one didn't require that much, just to give you a little something to think about and maybe give you a laugh. But thanks for stopping by. I do appreciate everybody who watches my stuff and comments and shares and all that happy things, the stuff that YouTube thinks is worthwhile. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. It would certainly help me. And the channel is growing slowly but surely. And as I said one time in another video, we are clawing our way up the YouTube algorithm. And yeah, I'm pretty happy about it. You guys are why I do this. So keep on keeping on. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.